Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy, Uncle Will, over here at TMW. You know that stands for That's My Word, the podcast. Thank you guys for viewing episode number 3. This episode was enriching. It was deep meaning to the hearts of See the Right and myself. And as you will see that, Latae, she didn't really have anything quality to say.
Because y'all double team me.
But with that being the case, thank you for watching the episode. And to you millennials, future baby daddies, hopefully you learn a little something from this and don't pick a chick up from the bus stop like I did. Deuces. The views on That's My Word podcast is expressed strictly for entertainment purposes only. Word. Welcome to That's My Word podcast, presented to you by Umbrella Entertainment, intended for the mature listener. With your hosts, Will, Latrell Latae, and C. Wright. So, thanks for watching and listening to the show. Enjoy. So, it is your boy, Uncle Will, Umbrella Entertainment. We're here presenting you guys the third segment from Umbrella Studios, the TMW podcast. That's right, that's my word. And let's not move on until we meet the other cast members. Because this is a show. Because somebody's daughter actually thought that this was a sitcom for some reason. Like we were Three's Company. And
Right.
I know she'll know what Three's Company is unless you look at,
Exactly.
those little retro shows. But anyway.
Watching with her dad.
But go ahead, Latae. Let the folks know who you are, girl.
All right, Latrell Latae, I'm back again, dealing with mess.
Anyway, and we have my boy, C to the Rizzle. Go ahead, let them know.
I'm making it happen. I don't know how I'm making it happen. I worked out all week just to be ready for this show, so we'll see what happens.
You had to work out?
I had
Yeah.
to keep up
It's
with
on
you.
the
I had
third
to.
show.
Can't you see how big his right arm got? His hand swollen? That boy done worked out. Freak out!
I mean,
Exactly.
literally. And you see Willie's name right on the back of it. Okay, there we go.
Oh my God. Okay. Every time, y'all throw a little something, I get a little more confused. But,
Anyway,
okay.
like she say, let's bring it back. So let's bring it back. So here we go.
And we got mugs.
Yes, oh yes. See,
That's
oh,
why
yes.
I drank to that.
Yes, exactly, right? Trying to, based upon her forcing the issue on things, we're trying to
You
be
said
more
who forcing the
progressive.
issue?
You. Trying to be more progressive. We even have a sign, you probably can't see it as much, but we're trying to put a little something back there, add a little
flavor.
class, you know what I'm saying? So
Okay,
you
that's
guys will
good.
be seeing it when you see the live show, which will be coming up soon, and we'll let you know a little something about that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go ahead and get into it. So, today's episode is about child support. Now, I know you're probably thinking you got two guys over here on this panel, and we're about to be sitting here, why they hit me up? Why they keep
You
on raising my
already know
child
it.
support? It ain't all about that, okay?
We're going to see.
We're going to state some facts here. We're going to talk about far as child support, friend of the court, far as the behind the scenes, how they supposed to do things, their mission statement on what the real issue is supposed to be. You're supposed to take care of the kids.
You know what you
the
said?
money.
I'm like,
and
the
all that
mission
stuff.
statement. What is the mission statement?
The mission statement is,
Because I know, right.
it's about the child. But they don't do that. It's about crushing the spirits of fathers, okay? Looking out for
Women can be
deadbeat
a pair
mothers.
too, right? So it's not just about that, but continue.
Oh, I'm just saying,
Okay.
men are made to be looked up on as deadbeat fathers. And don't get me wrong, we do have some deadbeat dads out there, right? So
And mom.
and moms. But the whole thing is, child support is a great thing to benefit the kids when the other parent isn't doing nothing. So let's not take from that. But we're talking about the system, okay, FOC itself, not about the meaning or the representation that it's supposed
Oh,
to.
no. Stop right there. When you talk about the meaning says for itself. What does it say? It says friend of the what? Of the court. It's not friend of the family. It's not friend of the child. It's friend of what? The court.
The court.
And, the
And
whole-
I think, and I'm glad you pointed that out, but I think if we remember that, that's where the confusion comes in, because people think, and you're supposed to be the friend of the court. But it is the friend of the court. There's the relationship with the court.
Right.
Okay.
So who profits from it then? Who really profits?
That's a damn good question. Do you now?
Wait. Okay.
Woman?
Wow. Very chauvinistic.
You probably get child support for like 18 years.
God damn you.
I'd have to disagree. She seems like a very, we'll say, independent individual. So
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I am going to correct you and you.
Ooh,
So.
go ahead.
Anyway, tell us then. Come on, get to anime.
Okay. We starting off good. So, of course, I don't speak for all women.
Okay.
And I think Front of the Court is a good establishment. Good in the sense that if somebody has to go through their program. Of course, nobody likes to be told what to do with their money.
So if they go through the program, it's good.
I think it's a good program. And you're going to
Whoa,
not
where did you
interrupt.
get this from?
Wait a minute. Let me. Just say y'all asked
Okay,
me, right?
okay, go ahead.
You
go
asked
ahead.
me, and then
Go
I
ahead,
got
go ahead.
three
I'm
words
sorry.
out.
All right, go ahead.
You're
I'm
ready to
sorry.
beat
I'm
me
sorry.
up. Okay. And again, remember he was saying, I know you're going to be looking at us like, oh man, and we're going to be here whining. What are they doing? Already.
She said whining.
I did.
Go ahead.
I
Okay,
did. Thank
we're gonna let you
you.
get this
So
out.
Let her get
what
out,
I'm
yeah.
saying is I think it is a good establishment.
Okay.
An establishment in terms of if somebody, the absent parent, whomever that may be, because sometimes it's women,
What do you mean absent?
the non-custodial parent. So there's a situation where the child is living somewhere, of course, right?
Right.
And then whomever the child is living with, they have an opportunity, however it comes about, to then receive money from the absent parent or the other party
Okay.
to assist with things that's going on with them and the child in that home.
Okay, can we pause you right there?
No. So let me. I'm gonna finish my thought. And we're
Go
gonna
ahead.
posture
Go ahead.
and come back to that.
All right, go
And
ahead.
so they get money, and if it's coming through front of the court, the reason why I'm gonna say that it is a good establishment in that the person who has the child with them does not have to wait if the person is paying. Does not have to wait on that person to give them the money. The money is automatically coming out. Let me put a disclaimer out there.
Please.
I've never gone through the front of the court system.
Oh, hold up. You mean you never?
For myself, I have a grown son.
Okay.
Me and his father divorced 10 years ago.
Okay.
And he was about 12, 13. And when we got divorced, we elected not to go through front of the court. For whatever reason, we elected
I
not
applaud
to
you.
go through
Mhm.
front of the court.
Yeah.
But I did work at front of the court some years
Oh.
before that. Excuse
Help-
me.
Help to implement policies. Go ahead.
You know what? I was not at that level. But I did work there, and so I have an understanding whether the people who were going through front of the court liked it or not. I do have an understanding that that's one of the things that they assisted with.
Okay.
That's not the only thing that they assisted with, but what they did was if you were a paying person,
Mm-hmm.
then it eliminated the need for you to communicate with that person all the time in terms of the money aspect of things. I'm not saying that it was the correct amount. I'm not saying it was too low or too high. I'm just saying as money come in. Now, let me also throw this out there. I do know of guys and girls who have quit their jobs not to pay through front of the court. I think that's ridiculous.
That's desperate.
I know of people who have lied about their income just to not go through front of the court or not to get the correct amount going through
Is this
front
mic
of the
dead?
court.
Hello, is this
So
mic dead?
let's
Is this
put
mic
that
dead?
all out there and let's address all those things
Right,
before you
let's address
start
it all.
getting,
Let's address
because
it all.
again, I know you guys come from the position of, and I think it's okay, that you were paying at one time. And you may have certain feelings about that, but let's remember that, again, whether you liked it or not,
Didn't like it.
I assume you didn't like it either, but whether you liked it or not, to me, that's what front of the court is for, in
Oh.
terms of making sure.
Right.
Oh.
Cut his mic off.
Oh, I thought it was cut off. Okay.
But go
Hey,
ahead.
under
Okay.
that concept of the front of the court, what you say as far as custodial parent?
Mhm.
Okay. Custodial parent. What's your definition of custodial parent?
Okay, am I the expert?
No, I'm just.
Well,
I'm
hell,
doing-
you
yeah,
just
yeah,
you,
I mean,
you just had a whole damn epilogue like you were. So
I mean, suck all the
Wow,
oxygen out of the room and everything
Okay,
else.
okay.
Well,
So the custodial parent is the person who has the child living with them.
okay, from what your own personal
Just from
observation.
my own, yeah.
From your own personal
I
observation.
mean, I don't have the Webster's dictionary.
No,
in
no,
front
that's
of me,
fine.
but-
That's fine. No one's holding you
Well,
to
no,
a T on
I
that.
don't know if it's not fine
No,
or
no.
fine or not because I just.
No, I'm not holding you to a T on that. My second question would be then, from your own personal observation,
Okay.
experience, and everything else,
Mhm.
who majority of the time prolifically becomes
So now you want to use some big words.
okay, who normally
There you go.
gets
There you
custodial
go.
custody
Dumb down
Custody
yourself.
of the children.
child? Who does?
So
Come on, answer
Oh,
the
he's stuck
man's
on pause.
question.
Let me
Damn,
push
answer the
play.
question.
I'm pushing play. I need an answer. Who normally
Who?
gets it?
I don't know. I don't have the statistics on it.
Oh.
I can assume. Oh, no. I can assume that primarily women have custody of the kids. I can assume that.
Right.
But do I have statistics on that?
I mean,
no. But I can
okay.
assume that the women usually have custody, physical custody anyway, of the children. Meaning the children are primarily living with the mom.
Okay,
Continue.
but so I believe the whole point of him saying that is because when man and woman, whether they're separating or they're going through a divorce,
Mhm.
it is automatically by default that the child is going to go here, and then he has to work hard as hell to show that she is unfit as a parent. And why is that a default setting?
Let me ask you this, because that you bring up something, as if you know this to be factual.
Yes, I do.
It's factual.
Yes, I do.
It's
It is
factual.
In your
factual.
situation,
No,
in your situation.
no.
But let me say this. So you're saying that by default the child goes to the mother. Do we know? Have we taken into account that some men are not trying to fight to get the kids to live with them? I'm just saying.
We're not. No. I'm not talking about them fathers who looking forward
Mhm.
to having the weekends, having the week free. Don't have to come home, help out with homework. Don't have to make sure the child take a hot ass shower, have food on
You're
the
talking
table.
about
I'm talking about the fathers that
a mom
want,
and a dad, and they've split for whatever
They're equally
reason,
yoked.
and they're
Yes.
equally yoked
Yes.
in terms of being able to take care of their child, and they're both fighting to have the child live with them.
Right.
That's this is
right,
the
but
scenario
one have
we're
to
talking
automatically work harder than the other,
Mhm.
and that is the father.
But can I say this? Did you deliver the baby?
Oh.
You don't want to hear about that. You don't want to hear about
Just
that.
because I don't have a uterus.
No.
I understand I have a uterus, but I still have
I
rights.
said,
Did you understand what you just
I'm
said,
not
though?
saying that you don't have any rights, but what I'm saying is, if you want to throw that out there and say one has to work harder.
But that wasn't the question.
But
okay,
no, and I'm not saying it in a bad way.
You carried the
and
child for 9 months.
Yes,
okay?
and guess what? And guess what? Then you have
I
men that's
understand
saying,
that.
I don't know if that's my baby, so you got to prove.
No,
so
we're
you
not
know,
talking about
we're
that.
I'm just saying on a basic level, we
What we're
know
saying-
who the child
what
belongs
we're
to.
Right.
Wait,
We know
what
what
we're
child
We
saying.
know who the child belongs to. We have to prove and I'm not trying to even be funny here. Think about it. Think about it. Unless you're sure of that woman, which in most cases we are.
Okay.
I'm just saying, and I'm just saying, going back in terms of as far as how laws may have been designed to where the mom gets the default benefit. I'm not saying that it's right.
Because it's not.
Do you
I'm
know
not saying that it's
when you
right.
mentioned statistically,
Yes, give
Okay.
us some statistics, please.
Stephen Baskerville has published in
And who is
regards.
that?
He's a political science
Mhm.
professor.
Mhm.
He has published the majority of people who've been incarcerated here in the United States. The majority come from broken houses where the man was removed, who did not get custody, was not allowed to even see custody, but at times was allowed to. But since that man was not primarily the custodial parent, or let alone that 50-50 equality,
Mhm.
which again,
And why was he removed?
I don't know, I'm saying statistically,
Okay.
okay?
But I want to know why he was removed.
When I'm saying removed,
Because there's got to be some reason.
well, if you're not allowed physical custody of your child, and by default it's a woman, then guess what? You're removed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Instead of taking it further outside the box with that. Now, unfortunately, crime goes up. We wonder why our society is the way it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And are you saying, just so I'm understanding this, and just so everybody else is understanding this, you're saying that crime is going up because the dad was removed from the home?
I'm saying primarily.
Because there was a split, reason.
I'm going to say it again.
Go ahead.
The primary people
Mhm.
who are locked up incarcerated come from broken homes.
Okay.
Where the man was
From the children.
Yeah,
As
the
you referring
children.
to
Okay.
the children.
Okay.
came from broken homes.
Came from broken
Okay.
homes,
Now,
meaning
when
the mom and the dad weren't together.
meaning the mom was the primary person who was had custody of the child.
Okay.
When
And you're saying that they're in prison because the mom.
No.
I'm just
No,
saying.
no.
Please.
He's saying for
he
every
attacked you?
action, there's a reaction. That's what he's saying.
I don't know that's what I
Just,
heard.
that's what he's saying. Now,
He said
just
that
because,
they-
okay,
they-
you talk. So, so, just because the man is no longer in the house, don't mean that he still can't be a man and help to raise that child.
Right.
But a lot of times, when he is, when I'm thinking far as being removed, the woman also, because of some bitterness, decide to play keep away, decide to say, well, hey, if you're not here or if I can't have you, then who needs you around? Just give me the money.
Oh no, not only that, but when you say
Look at
stuff,
like
hold
that,
on, but
though.
when you say stuff like that, you said, and be the man. How can you be a man if you go before a court that's already designed that you're not going to have custody, you're not going to have equal parenting time, because their thing is, if the mom really doesn't want to have that equal parenting time, they're going to side majority of the time with the mother and not allow that equal parenting time.
And
That's not
this,
true.
no, yes it is.
Oh,
because,
yes, it
because
is.
this
That's not
goes
true.
into
That's not
this
true.
goes into when we talk
That's
about
not
the
true.
friend of the court. So like we
Oh.
said, the
That's not
subject
true.
is
Oh.
about child support, but
There's some other
also
things
to
that
go
friend of
in
the court
deep
does.
with it
That's
is about
right.
the friend of the court as a whole.
Right.
So typically, when you receive your little show cause hearing, for you guys that went through it, or you love future baby daddies, you know, here's how it goes. You go down there, you to the Knopscott building for Wayne County.
Hopefully those relationships will stay intact. So
Hopefully,
where they don't have to deal with a
hopefully,
front of the court system.
hopefully,
Or
but we
there'll
know
be
that
some
we're dealing with
communication that
young
is built up
millennials who like to
between
have fun.
the
But if you
potential
notice, she's
baby
still
mom and baby
talking
dad to where they
classically.
don't
She got
have
the
to
Miss
deal with
Pac-Man
this.
syndrome.
You know what?
She
I'll
just
tell you
going.
what, hey,
I'm
Dr.
trying to
Johnson,
talk.
why don't we just look into as far as Carol Rhodes, and Carol Rhodes had put out a book in regards, because she used to work at the friend of court, and she put out a book as far as the atrocities that's going on and has been going on. And again, I can only speak about one state, dealing with Michigan, when it comes to child support, where it's set up and designed to falsify information, let alone as far as to separate the kids from parent, as far as the male wise being custodial parent.
Carol Rhodes.
Carol Rhodes, she has
She
some
was in-
videos out there.
She retired from the state.
She retired from a county,
From the county, I'm
from
sorry.
the front of the court.
Okay.
Okay, and she put out there the atrocity. She's not holding
And
anybody
so,
back.
and when did she do this? And who was she? I know you said she's retired.
Is she a referee? Was
What
she
is she?
just like
Who is she?
a administrator or some
She
sort?
was one of the people as far as what's the term I'm looking for? When you go down and you have to decide as far as custody between a child, and you have to have that interview. I forget the exact title.
Where you go and have
Yeah,
parent
mediation.
mediation.
Well,
type
not mediation.
deal.
They do their recommendation from the friend of court, so they're like an evaluator.
Okay.
Okay, and it's actually supposed to go by the best interest factors, not about whether one's a male, whether one's a female, whether one is getting more money and all. It's
Whether
supposed
the
to be the
mother's
best.
crying on their shoulders during the whole deal.
The
Are
whole
you
nine
kidding
yards.
me?
So what she did, she put out a book. Prior to even putting out a book, she had put some videos. Now she's out there. Anytime somebody wants to interview in regards to that, she puts it out there. And the
So-
falsification, okay, has been happening, and they're taught.
And so
They
she
are
was a
taught-
part of that.
I'm not disputing that, and she
Okay.
openly
Okay, so she was
acknowledged
a
it,
part of
and
it.
she said she
and
was
now
wrong
she's
for doing it.
profiting
Oh,
off of.
oh. So she
Well, as far
actually
as
said
from her
that she was
retirement.
wrong for doing it.
Yeah, she said she openly
So
said
she
she was
knew
wrong
she
for
was
doing
a
it.
part of
right,
that,
but
that
she knew
system.
she was a part of the problem, but she wasn't doing anything while she was benefiting from
You
it.
know, that's kind of funny because you mentioned that. I find it really funny, and the reason why I say that's funny is because we have people who still working in the friend of court and still continue to keep their mouths shut about the corruption they're doing in there right now. But yet, she waited. She got done. She retired.
So
yeah,
nothing can happen to her
So,
while she's
well,
there.
the fact of the matter is, we even had other people who retired from the friend of court, but they're not saying nothing. She is though.
Okay,
So are we going to fault her for it? No,
I'm
I'm
not
gonna say.
saying-
I'm gonna say thank you, Carol Rhodes. Thank you very much.
Well, actually, I'm not, because I'm thinking if she was someone, and I don't know who she is, but if she was someone who had all this information about the
Just like all the
atrocities-
rest of them that's out there right now.
Okay. All the atrocities that was going on with the front of the court system, and then she didn't do anything about it while she worked there. She kept getting her coins, right? That's what you're saying.
I'm not
and
disputing
then
that.
Still
and then
getting it.
afterwards, she's still getting it because now she's done put out a book.
Okay, I'm not disputing that.
Okay, so
Okay,
no,
because-
and I agree with you in terms of the other people. If there's some things that's going on which I don't know about, but if there's some things that's going on that is not right, that's illegal, then yeah, speak up. But since she has spoken up, then she's not gonna get extra kudos and high fives from me just because.
I agree
to me, that's
with
not
her
love.
on that. And
Well,
I don't
I'm
agree too
gonna
much
say-
on
I'm gonna say
anything,
this.
but I agree on that.
What happens a lot of times?
Seriously, seriously.
What happens a lot of times with dealing with whistleblowers, and that's
Okay.
what we're called.
Okay.
When you come out and you say something, you're
damn
working for an
whistleblower.
entity or for a company.
I don't call him a whistleblower.
Well, I'm
No,
just
you
saying, you
can't
may
a
not call. They
whistleblower.
call it a whistleblower, okay?
She's not a whistleblower.
Well, no. hear me out.
Not in the sense that
She
you're
wasn't fired
What I'm
right.
for coming out saying nothing.
Coming out exactly.
She wasn't
comfortably
hiding
retired.
or nothing
What
like
did
that.
she retire from?
Man,
Okay,
please.
What was her
can
position?
I finish?
What was her
Can
position?
I finish?
Yeah,
Okay,
what
well,
was
go
her
ahead.
We
position?
already asked that question. I already told
don't
you I don't know exactly.
don't
We're
give
talking-
What did
her.
he say was her position?
He said she was some damn administrator
Referee.
up there, or whatever. But the
Okay,
thing is,
I thought she
don't
was a
don't
judge.
make it seem like she didn't prepare to take a bullet
Okay,
or whatever.
you're not hearing
you
me.
know what I'm saying?
Let me
Okay.
maybe take the time. Slow down with the blood pressure, okay? All right, you'll catch what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, okay,
Mhm.
those who are whistleblowers out there,
Okay.
okay, what happens to a whistleblower, okay, is depending on your entity that you're working for, the company, whatever organization you're working for, can be met. Even though there's laws against retaliation against whistleblowers, it can be very problematic. What I'm saying is there's plenty of people who are out there right now who are aware of the circumstances, who are still working for such courts where this stuff is going on and they're not saying nothing.
But we don't know who those people are. We know who this lady is.
If you
because
work,
you talked
in
about
other
it,
words,
right?
if you're working for in that state, be in Michigan, okay? If you're working in a county, okay, you're being taught to falsify records, to do this stuff, to
and
make
this is what she said.
yes.
Okay.
Take the time and check out the videos.
So you can
She's
find
on
the videos on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Carol Rhodes.
Carol Rose on YouTube.
And also
And
Stephen
you're saying she's
Baskerville.
a judge.
No,
he
she's
isn't
not
a
a judge.
judge.
She was an
Okay.
evaluator.
Okay.
Again,
I'm just making
I may
sure.
stand corrected as far as her title, but as far as I know that she was an evaluator down at the front of the court. Now also keep in mind too, so where's all that money going, one who used to work down at the front of the court?
What money?
That's a damn good
That's
question.
what I'm asking. As
No,
far as
I'm
child
just-
support money and so forth.
What
like
do you
that.
mean? Where's the money going?
I'm asking
Well,
where is the money going?
I don't know. I didn't get child support.
Well,
Okay, I
Hold
made
on.
reference
To-
in regards
to
to you
her-
working down there.
her baby daddy.
How about this to he and I? Because that was a relationship that we worked out. It wasn't just that, he
Okay.
decided he wasn't going to pay
Not
me.
about you. I'm
We
talking
both-
about that brother right there. So listen, let's get to it. We know a percentage of the money goes somewhere else.
Where does the
But
percentage of
where
money-
is that where else?
The other where else?
Wait, and what percentage are we talking? Because there is a front of the court fee.
Okay, there's a front of the court fee.
Okay,
But
'cause you
anytime,
can't tell me that money that's
God
coming
damn,
in.
let him tell you.
no, she ain't. I mean, she. Just call
Turn my
EMS.
mic off,
Hey,
then.
call EMS, okay? Because she gonna suck that oxygen right there. Okay.
Jesus.
I won't say
So-
nothing else.
Okay.
Tell.
So, anyways, what happens is, some of the money is supposed to go, of course, towards the welfare of that child, the
Mhm.
upkeep, the welfare of the child.
Mhm.
A
Okay.
large percentage, yes.
Okay.
All of them.
Some of the money.
Except for the fee.
Well, all of them,
The
all of them
fee.
should, right? Okay, but come on, see.
Okay. So, anyways, in regards to that, under Title 4D and Title 4E funding, part of that money goes towards a judge's retirement. So even though the county is paying their money to keep these employees
So they
going,
get extra money.
plus under Title 4D, Title 4E, they're getting federal funded, and they're getting 2 for 1, which means they're getting double the amount on what they're saying that they have to receive.
So they're double dipping.
Well, I don't know
Yes.
about all that, but if we're talking about the front of the court fee, then there is a fee associated with the money that comes in that you're paying for child support. I do understand
I understand
that.
like
But
a
the front of the
processing
court
fee.
whatever it is, we don't know what processing or administrative, whatever they've decided to divvy that up, we don't know. We can't say how that money can be used.
No, he's talking about
He's not
the,
talking about-
the
no,
different
no,
titles.
let me
he
ask you
just
this.
named 2 different
Yes,
titles
he did, but he's
that
saying
the
but
referees are getting extra pay from.
right, but he's
Why do they
talking
need to get
about
extra
No,
pay?
I'm
but
talking
he's
about
saying-
regards towards a judge's retirement.
Right,
that's what
Okay,
I'm saying.
now keep in
Right.
mind. Now keep in mind what happens is a judge is set at a certain amount of money they're making every year.
Mhm.
Okay, and how they ever do their equation to evaluate to say, upon this person retiring, this is how much money to get.
Mhm.
But keep in mind, under that Title 4D and Title 4E funding, if they're getting more money, what happens towards that judge for the retirement? It increases. So it's an incentive, okay, dealing with domestic cases. Now, I know personally, when my children was ripped from me, as far as custody-wise,
Mhm.
okay, it tore me apart. All
It
right?
tore
And then
everybody apart.
when one has to go there and try to, we'll say, prove the other parent is not fit to be a parent, you could have all the proof in the world. You could have all the evidence in the world. If the judge simply does not want to look at that, guess what? It doesn't matter. It goes by what the judge says. And
Well,
they-
I'm not
Yeah.
going to say that goes for every situation and everybody. What I'm going to say, because that is a personal situation that you're speaking on, I'm not going to say that that's a blanket way that things happen.
What I'm saying to you, what I'm saying to you is
In
this
your case.
in my case and
Thank
other
you.
and also other cases.
Well, in
And
your
how about in
case-
You're
most
not
cases?
hearing me. You're not
How
hearing
about
No,
in most
no, he's
cases?
speaking
No,
from
I'm
his
not saying-
case.
right.
Most cases.
No.
How about that?
How
So
about,
it's fair to
how
say
about,
most cases.
how
What-
about
what-
when you get
no.
the statistics, then you can say that.
What I'm saying to you is,
Because I know you don't have any.
okay, what I'm saying to you
You
is,
know how you're going to look it up.
is that any time if a judge decides, any time, any judge
Mhm.
dealing with domestic cases, if they say they do not want to look at the evidence and they want to side by what somebody simply says, they have that right to not look at it. Okay, that's a fact. They can do that with any case. They can do that.
Well,
And
it's
called
there's no
judicial.
repercussions
It's,
either.
no, it's called
No.
judicial discretion.
Exactly.
They
That's
have
why
the
there
right.
are judges, right?
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it's a procedure that they have to follow. It's not
I
that maybe that
understand
wasn't the right evidence. Did you ever think about that?
Oh, okay,
Maybe
but
that
what
was
if it is the
irrelevant,
right evidence
you know?
and let's say
Well,
the
I
child
would-
go with mama and the child wind up because the mama desperate for a new boyfriend in the house or some shit, right?
Wow.
So he wind up beating the hell out the kid and the kid is hurt. Now the daddy, the biological, then went down there and said, look, whenever I do get my child, the child be looking at malnutrition, the child is not clean. Your Honor, this is what's going on. Here's pictures. Here's this. That judge.
Show me some evidence because you're speaking
That
from a
judge
scenario
can,
that
based
you have
upon
proof
what
about
see the right
something
is
like-
saying,
No.
can make a judicial decision.
Right, but you
and
cannot
say,
make me believe
I don't
that
wanna
any
see that.
judge who would see
And-
something like that would not
Well,
act
hold
on that.
on
That's
one
what I'm
second.
saying.
No,
So
but
you
you-
trying
no,
to say that our judges
no,
now are
no,
incompetent?
no, hold on. Let me
You
just
know,
say
and
this.
There has been
insensitive
some
to criminal
situations-
matters?
Let-
Are you
let take-
kidding me?
let take-
There has been some situations.
Let's take.
It-
What he's saying is not all, but some.
Some.
And there
I
has
would
been
never
some proven
put all of them
documented
down. I would never
cases
put
where-
Well, I
all
would
you
not-
and
and
really
I'm
get
not-
that
and that can be
FOC
with
down.
anything.
But
And
for the
that can
most
be with
part, a lot of
anything.
y'all are on some stuff. Now,
Who is a lot of y'all?
I'm talking about the FOC employees. I ain't talking about
Now
you.
you're talking about the specific FOC employees.
Yeah, I'm not saying all of them because I'm not worried about you no damn more because I can walk down there and I can give you the figure like this and you can't do shit to me. So I'm not scared of you really.
Hey,
no
look,
more.
hold on.
I
Doctor,
was scared.
Doctor, hold on one
Oh,
second.
I only got 3 more months.
Oh,
Right, but do you
You
really
can't
want
do
to burn
shit
the
to me.
bridge?
Oh,
Do
hey,
you really want to
okay.
burn the bridge
Now,
for 3 more months?
let me just
or
say
so?
this. Okay, this is since you mentioned that, I would be concerned. The reason why I say I would
3
be
more
concerned.
months.
No.
You want to apologize?
Well, Dr.
Because
Johnson.
you do got
Dr.
some time
Johnson.
left.
You
Dr.
don't know
Johnson.
me. You don't know my doctor number.
Dr. Johnson, hear me out on this. Okay, he indicated he has only 3 more months. Here's the problem with that. Okay, he said he's free and clear after 3 months. No, because
Is it yes or no?
and the reason being is if they continue tapping his check, like Bubba was tapping him, okay, it can go on past that. Then if he tries to get the money back, good luck. So in other words, his child support
I
payment is supposed to start.
disagree.
Well, you can, but
I disagree.
there's so many cases in regards to when a child support was supposed to stop at a
Maybe
certain.
he owed arrears, and so a lot of times we
You got an
speaking
oxygen
on-
tank over there?
Oh my
Because she's just
God.
sucking it out of me, man.
Jeez.
I'm trying to get. I'm trying to hit
Go
you with the
ahead.
factual
Go
stuff.
ahead.
Okay?
Yeah.
long-winded.
Oh,
Jesus.
I'm going. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going with it. I ain't got to say nothing. Y'all go ahead. I didn't even have to be here for this. Go ahead, see right. Go ahead and say your
Okay,
nonsense.
so what? She said, "Say your nonsense." So, anyways, keep in mind,
Mhm.
they can continue taking money out of your check, and good luck after they take it out, past that date, trying to get it back. There's even been cases where individuals who are not even, we'll say, dads, biological, or even was any significant part of that child's life, has been paying child support. Okay, and guess what? Because the mother had put that name down, they're locked into it here in Michigan. I can't speak about other states, but
I've
by
heard
you
about
saying
that.
you're free and clear after 3 months, you're not, brother. You are not.
Well, I tell you what. Before we move on, though, I just want to go back to that judicial situation with the judges.
Okay, go ahead.
If something happened to the kid, can
Qualified immunity.
so a judge cannot be held accountable for whatever their
Qualified
decision
immunity.
is, even if it caused a harm or whatever to that child.
Judicial discretion.
What is going on is that we trust our judges to make competent decisions, right?
Yeah.
And so how that comes into play is just, let's say if they've made a decision, we're trusting that they're making a competent decision. It's not for you to say, oh, well, I felt it should be this way. I believe that they should have decided. They're making a decision based on their education and experience and whatever the
understand
laws
that.
are. And so what
I'm just saying,
that
if
is
proof
saying
comes back
is,
saying
if
that they
something
screwed
were
up.
to
Well-
happen as a result of that decision,
Right.
then you can't now come and sue the judge. Not that, to me, what C. Wright is saying is they are they are blatantly just making these decisions like as if they are not.
I'm not saying whether it was blatant or not. I'm
Well,
just
now
saying.
you want to jump
no,
off the
no,
bandwagon?
no.
You
Listen
can't have it
what I'm
both
saying
ways. You
is-
can't have it
What
both
I'm saying
ways.
is, if it comes back that
Right, after they
he
made a
or
decision,
she
again,
made
based
a
on
wrong
their
decision.
experience and based on the law.
Okay.
That's what that's
so
what they should be doing.
we can hold someone
That's what they should-
accountable if they come down the street the wrong way and hit you. We can sue them, or they can be charged with manslaughter or whatever like that. But we can't hold the judge who got my 3-year-old daughter killed by a
How did the
freaking-
judge
because he
feel?
made if I bring
Because he
you
didn't
something
give you
and
a
I show
decision that
you
you wanted.
you're not listening.
No,
though.
you're not
If
listening.
I bring
You're
you
not listening
something
because
that
the why
says,
you're not
"This is
listening
how
is
my
because
child
there
is
is
being
a
treated."
law. There is laws, right? And they have to follow the law. So let's say you brought them something, and for whatever reason, the law said, well, they have to do this based on this. And I'm saying if they made that decision,
Mhm.
and then something ended up happening to your daughter, you cannot, based on this immunity, come back and say, well, it was the judge's fault.
So
That's all
I'm
I'm saying.
just fucked.
I'm not saying, you know what?
That's it. No, I mean
And
that's
what
what
is
you're saying. I mean that's what you're saying. I mean,
Well, would this
I'm
be the
sorry,
first
Mr.
time?
Johnson,
Would this
but
be-
I'm
would this
sorry,
be the
sir,
first time?
but you are out of a
Hold on,
child.
hey, Dr. Johnson.
Will this be the first time?
Hey, that's your word, but hold on one second, okay? I'm gonna give a little bit of clarification for some type of remedy, and this is what happens in return. You probably heard it plenty of times, sitcoms, probably in real life, don't piss off the judge. Okay? So if you piss off a judge, that means, I guess, a judge, because they're human, they're not gonna do what's according to as far as their judicial things or the canon laws they're supposed to go by, okay? So you have a judicial tenure commission.
So again, we're saying our judges are incompetent, don't follow the law.
That's what you just said, I did. Okay?
That's
So,
what you're saying.
no, you didn't hear
No,
those
but
words
some
come out.
are.
What I'm
Okay,
saying,
come
what
on.
I'm saying, yes, okay? And I'm also dealing with personal experience in the past where I can say that I know of one particular who's no longer on the bench.
And we're not saying no names, so calm down.
Okay, so at this particular time, whatever, if you look at as far as Judicial Tenure Commission, you have probably over 2,000 complaints every year,
Mhm.
okay? Primarily the ones who you hear about are the ones in the media and where they take serious action to. When I say serious action, it's a serious action if you suspend a judge. If you disbar a judge, okay, that's serious action. Getting a counseling or whatever they do, reprimand, well, guess what? Things like that happen. But does it stop certain judges from doing what they do? Okay? No. Okay? And it's very unfortunate. Now, if the system was perfect and everyone made decisions according to the law
Mhm.
without interpretation different from the law, again, they're interpreting, or from case law.
Mhm.
We have a lower court. That's why if they're wrong about something, we have the right to do what? Right for an appeal, or we'll say make a decision, make a different decision. So we ask for a motion of reconsideration. Guess what? They decide not to. Keep in mind, you already paid X amount of dollars, because if you go before the court and you're not an attorney, good luck trying to represent yourself. They don't look at you so kind like that. So once you do that, it takes a certain kind of attorney. Now, if that is exhausted, then you have a right to appeal it to Michigan Court of Appeals. Well, that costs another, starting off at $10,000 just for to have an attorney to review it. Okay. Also, it takes another what? Another attorney to do it. By having another attorney, you're looking at more what?
Money.
But can I say something? We're speaking this as if the person had a valid case, right?
You're right.
That's I'm just saying.
Right,
I'm not
right,
disputing. I'm not
right,
challenging anybody.
right,
I'm just
right.
saying.
Okay.
The assumption when you talk about these things and saying how things maybe have failed through and the atmosphere is, but it shouldn't have. We're speaking from the position of thinking this person had a valid case. Maybe the judge determined that they didn't.
Well, again, it
And
goes.
so,
I
of course, it costs money to get some things changed and done.
And that's why we've had people executed who were innocent. That's why we've had people who spent one day too long in prison because
So you want to get
they-
those people on your side.
because they
I see
were
what you're
because they
doing.
were
I see
wrongly
what you're
convicted.
doing.
Okay.
I see what you're
Our
doing.
system, if it
Make
was
me out to be the bad
our
person.
system, if it was
See, knowing
in
that
per,
that's a
if our
sensitive issue.
let me know when you're done.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay. So
And like I said, you're not
I thought you were done. Damn. You still.
if our system was perfect, we wouldn't have all these courts, higher courts, who's supposed to do the right thing or hopefully catch the error. Okay? Now, after Court of Appeals, you're looking at what? Motion reconsideration, more money, huh? Okay?
More money.
Then you're looking at going to the what? Michigan Supreme Court. Michigan Supreme Court costs what?
Money.
Okay? And so in return, it takes a different attorney, again, starting off for them to look at the brief. You're talking about over $10,000. If they don't like it, each court, except for the lower court, your Michigan Court of Appeals, your Michigan Supreme Court can just simply rubber stamp it saying denied and not tell you under what pretenses it was denied.
Now,
Don't look at me.
now, even though he's long-winded like a mother, okay, he's talking from experience on some things too. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Again, and
Absolutely.
again, that's not
Absolutely.
that's right. He's talking from experience, but I don't think we should just throw a blanket out there that this is what happened in all these cases.
Oh, no.
Because again, your
ain't nobody
experience
saying
may have
that.
turned out one way for you.
You know what?
But when we're talking to people, it almost sounds like you're saying that this is how it goes, and
Well-
this is not how it goes.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm not saying prolifically
Well,
that's
you
how
know
it goes.
that's your word.
Man,
Well,
I'm
what
not
I'm
worried.
saying is you need to either Google or you can YouTube.
Do your research.
Do your research, and you're going to find out how many parents, how many children have suffered because a judge, or it could have been somebody from the front of the court who kicked it off,
Mhm.
okay, made a wrong decision, either deliberately or indeliberately, for
Mhm.
whatever reason, or simply did not properly do their job like they're supposed to, and was supported by the higher court and so forth, and now these children are left out there. The parent, the good custodial parent, who would have been, we'll say, a preferred choice,
Like me.
didn't have that opportunity to raise their children, and in cases, there's been cases of suicide as a result.
Mm.
All you have to do, but the biggest thing is, when these people come out and they say something, guess what? They're liars. They're made out to be just wrong people. They're rebel. They're just making this stuff up. Okay?
Well, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Well, tell me this then.
Hmm.
Do you think, based upon with a lot of the issues that some fathers go through, do you think that they're really wrong if they say, "Get it, I just see you as who you hate too"?
Okay, let me just say this. There was a period where I wasn't able to see my kids for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when you deal with something like that, it puts you on edge.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say put you on edge, if you don't find something to shut a part of your human nature down, and actually the court dehumanizes you itself. It demasculates you as being a man. Let alone as far
It
as
demasculated you.
okay, it demasculates you as a man, and let alone as far as what it represents on how you are and
Well,
everything
me
else.
too.
And in the end, or let alone how you were raised and you believe the system, how it's supposed to be, or what your attorneys tell you that this judge should not be doing this, or other attorneys, or even some former judges that I've spoken to, and the lower courts and our higher courts have said the same thing. But a lot of times things don't happen like that. So for
Man.
4 years,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see or talk to my
Y'all should've
children.
had an all-man panel.
I just couldn't. Okay, I wanted to, I fought to, but I wasn't able to. Okay, so
Well,
when something like that happens, all I can say is you have to keep going. You have to find an outlet of some sort,
Definitely.
because sooner or later, hopefully sooner, you're going to be able to see your kids or talk with them again, and they're going to need help.
Yes, because I almost went stealth mode on my daughter's mother, let me tell you, because my military training was almost put to use in civilian world. I'm
Wow.
telling you, because again, FOC allowed a look. Well, calm down,
I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing.
because okay,
Consider a person who never
we're-
received child
right,
support
right,
from
right,
through the
right,
right,
friend
so
of
y'all
court.
sit
So-
up here,
so-
right?
But she's
exactly.
defending
we're
it.
we
not-
went and we
I'm
got the
saying-
little
I'm
training
saying the
or
program, not
training.
you guys are talking about
Okay,
judge
okay,
doing
I'm talking.
inappropriate things.
I got you. So we went to the counseling, okay, because she was on some real petty things, okay. And I think, and I told you guys this too. And me and C, we had to talk about, our history on things. Can't talk to her because she don't have a history on that, which I
But she has an
applaud.
opinion about it.
And
of course.
I applaud her on that. You know what I'm saying?
Keep going, brother.
So, my now wife, she used to braid my daughter hair, things like that. And a lot of this stuff was brought out in the counseling. And her my daughter's mom, she used to call back to the house like, tell that, don't be braiding my daughter hair. I don't use these kind of rubber bands. Or she get my daughter something for her birthday. She want to bring it back to the job. Or she try to drop my daughter off for school to her daddy's house, which is, my daughter's granddad.
Let me ask
She's
you.
crying
let
to
me-
the
let me-
granddad
let me-
saying that don't let that woman
Well,
come
let's
over.
Hold on, let me
No,
interrupt you for a second.
No, let me say this. I'm just saying because when I go to the friend of the court and when we have these little meetings trying to, bring some unity, because we're supposed to be doing this for the kid, which is everything is supposed to be centered around.
How did you feel
for
inside?
the kid.
How'd you feel
It
inside
made
as you were
me feel
driving to the house?
miserable
And could you
because
have done a better
my
job
child
of
is looking.
choosing?
I mean, you know that
Who you
saying.
appropriate
You know that
with?
saying.
How you want to make
If
it the
you
judge's
know
fault
now
and
what
then
you knew then, okay, okay, but I mean, the thing,
make it
hey,
the judge's
I was
fault.
young and I went up and down protected. I thought
You
it
know,
was good stuff.
she's
I
jabbing
made
at you. You know
mistakes,
she's jabbing
but
at you.
I know what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, true enough. True enough, I should have kept going past the bus stop when I so, but I did, right? She looked easy. So,
But now,
and this is what I got. This is what I got.
So now you know, just lay down, had a baby,
Damn.
which babies are gifts from God.
So that means he
But-
should be punished for the rest of his life?
I'm not saying be
Wait,
punished.
you know what?
That's what
I
she's
tell you
saying.
what. I tell you what.
But-
I'm not punished now because my daughter, she's grown as hell.
Right.
Navy, doing her thing, independent. I love you, darling.
Absolutely.
So, but it was hell.
But some of the issues that you got,
Yeah.
not that somebody who has been in a relationship with somebody for a long term and know that person might not have issues, you know, and different conflicts or whatever. But when you don't know a person, you know, and you pick them up from the bus stop, as you
Yeah,
said,
oh my
because
God.
they looked easy, and then all of a sudden you
God.
got something that now has made this relationship permanent,
Wow,
and you want
yes.
some outside entity to fix it, and so you mad at them.
So because I made the wrong damn decision, I gotta
Yeah.
be punished.
Yes.
And not only that, the entity she's speaking of is
See?
supposed to do it correctly.
Listen to
So
that.
she's saying they're not supposed to do their job.
I did not say that. I didn't say they're not supposed to do
Did
their
you hear
job. You're saying that
That's
these
what the
people-
entity's
you're
for.
saying, you're
That's
saying
what the
that
entity's
they
for.
can't correct something that probably can't
No,
get
I'm saying
corrected, like
correct the
communication.
behavior.
The,
Correct
how they
the
gonna correct her
behavior.
from saying shit like, "Oh, don't put those rubber bands on my
Okay,
baby
if,
hair," and all
if
that?
I'm
That's
coming
not
to
what they're
you, I'm
designed
letting
to
you know
do.
that my
They're
child is
designed-
crying, my child is miserable, my child is even scared to even talk about me, bring my name up because they get slapped or
So
some
what
shit.
did you want them to
Whatever.
do because they said
I mean,
that
help
they
me out.
can't
Hear
talk?
me.
What?
Don't
Who
let
said
me
they didn't
walk
do
in.
it?
Every time I walk in, your face fucking torn, all twisted
Because
and
you
stuff.
coming in
Because I'm
there
trying to let you know,
saying,
look, this
I
what's going
messed
on with
around
me.
with this
Hey,
lady who
could
was
you
sitting
please
at
help
the
me?
bus stop.
Help me,
She
please.
looked easy. Now I want you to make it perfect.
See,
What you
That's
what
what
you
you
doing?
said.
What you,
That's what I'm doing.
she's geeking
That's
you
what
up. That's
you-
what she's doing. She's doing an
Oh,
excellent job
God.
too.
I'm
Excellent
like
job.
geeking him up.
Okay, hey, Dr. Johnson, what I'm saying to you is, I think a remedy to that would be the option as far as it should be, equal parent in time. Okay, but to do a proper assessment and periodic assessment to ensure that child is placed where it should be in the best interest factor, not
That's
for the
all I'm
parent,
saying.
but for the child. Okay, because we're wondering why now, dealing with society, why these kids won't listen. Majority, not all of them, but majority. Okay, why do we have what we have in dealing with the increasing crime population throughout the United States? Why do we have drug epidemics and so forth
So
like
it's
that?
the front of the court fault.
Let me finish,
Mhm.
okay? As Frederick Douglass once said, it's easier to fix a broken child than repair a grown man, okay? So it's easier on that concept, but if you turn around and continue on, our society is still going to continue to dwindle. It's going to increase, though, with crime, okay? Because right now, our population is not looking too good. The hostility that's in the air continuously. How people will quickly feed off to what peers have to say, what your sitcoms are saying, gravitate to all that stuff. Hell, listening to this different music or whatever that's coming up where a certain performer says something, well, guess what? We have to believe it when that performer, but instead of with the structure that should have been built at the house.
But that's not front of the court's fault.
It starts when friend of the court sits there
It
and does
starts
improper.
when the two people
I'm not listening.
can't stay together,
What I'm
and
sa-
that's fine.
what I'm saying-
But then you want to say front of the court needs to fix it.
I'm saying friend of the court, when it comes to the legal aspect, when it comes before them, they have to start with the evaluations. Okay?
It's their freaking duty.
Exactly. But according to Carol Rhodes, they are trained not to do it accordingly.
Who
Okay.
didn't bring this out until when she retired comfortably, right?
And you're
now
right,
she
but,
has a
understand
book
that,
out.
but thank you, Ms.
Uh-huh.
Rose, for bringing it out.
Mhm.
It
Okay.
little, too
Yes.
late, but I tell you what, it's obvious that you're not trying to listen to what we have to say.
Not a damn word,
You know
not
what
a
I'm saying?
single
So you gonna do
word.
me like
but-
that,
but-
No,
Ron?
you did us like that.
Before we wrap up here, though, C. Wright has this nice shirt on. Could you please show them the shirt? man?
Nobody wants to see that.
Show them that shirt, man. Show them that shirt. And it's Deadpool in representation of the men that she dated recently. They all just dead in a pool. So, but anyway, so listen. So, as we wrap this on up, we're going to let her
I
give
ain't
her
got
own
nothing
little
to
things.
say.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Y'all can finish this up.
Okay, well, the Deadpool mistress is passed on her. So, Mr. C. Wright, what you want to say in wrapping this thing on up?
I think we need to contact our legislation, our legislators, in regards to pushing a bill to allow equal parenting time. They need to look more into as far as checks and balances in the court, along as far as what our judges. Our judicial system needs to be reevaluated and needs a better checks and balances, let alone our judicial tenure commission. It will not happen overnight. It will be resisted greatly because people are making money. Attorneys are making money by keeping, we'll say, parties favorable more one than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So something needs to change. Can I say what it'll be? No. You electing these people. Get them to do their job, because otherwise you won't see them until it's election time again.
Bingo. There you go. So, it ends with me unless the
No.
Okay. So, here we go. Listen. We don't claim to have the answer for everything,
I can't
right?
tell.
But, based upon experience, you can...
I just said our judges were incompetent and
Not all.
Based upon experience.
Not all. No one's saying
You
all.
can put your feelings out there and let it be known about
and then
the
you hit the people on from the bus stop who was easy. But you won't.
She won't let me wrap this up. But here's what I'm trying to say, okay? FOC has a great meaning.
Concept.
That's what
It's a
I'm saying.
concept.
It's a great concept.
Yes.
You know, it's about the kids, about the babies. And you know, Uncle Will love the kids, right? So it's about the kids, but where they fall short is on the reunification of parenting, making parents work together or showing them how to work together to help benefit the children. So all we're saying is stop making it about the money, make it about the family, make it about the kids.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, I'm your boy Uncle Will. This is Latizzle. This is my man C. Wright. Thank you for watching. That's my word. Peace.
You picking up pictures on
Hey!
at the bus stop
was
and you don't bring
young.
the court to come in and fix it and you mad because it didn't work out. That's your fault.
I know that now, okay?
You know what I mean?
Shit. I tell you what, I won't pick nobody else on that goddamn
Hey.
Well,
Oh, she feisty. She is so
I see
feisty.
what y'all doing. Y'all ain't look just like you said. Y'all done had a